I'm a long-haul trucker. I stopped for a lost kid on a deserted highway in the middle of the night. What I saw attached to him and the question he asked is why I don't drive anymore. This happened a few years back. I was doing long-haul, mostly cross-country roads, the kind that take you through vast stretches of nothing. You know the ones where the radio turns to static for hours and the only sign of life is the occasional pair of headlights going the other way, miles apart. I was young, eager for the miles, the money, didn't mind the solitude, or so I thought. The route I was on took me across a long, desolate stretch of highway that ran between the borders of two large governmental territories. I don't want to say exactly where, but think big, empty spaces, lots of trees, not much else. It was notorious among drivers for being a dead zone. No signal, no towns for 100 miles either side, and prone to strange weather. Most drivers tried to cross it during daylight, but schedules are schedules. Mine had me crossing it deep in the night. I remember the feeling. Utter blackness outside the sweep of my headlights. The kind of dark that feels like it's pressing in on the cab. The only sounds were the drone of the diesel engine, the hiss of the air brakes now and then, and the rhythmic thrum of the tires on asphalt. Hypnotic. Too hypnotic. I'd been driving for about 10 hours with a short break a few states back. My coffee was wearing off. The dashboard lights were a dull, comforting green glow, but they also made the outside world seem even darker. My eyelids felt unbearably heavy. You fight it. You slap your face, roll down the window for a blast of cold air, and crank up whatever music you can find that hasn't dissolved into static. I was doing all of that. It must have been around 2 or 3 a.m. I was in that weird state where you're not quite asleep, but not fully awake either. Like your brain is running on low power mode. The white lines on the road were starting to blur together, stretching and warping. Standard fatigue stuff. I remember blinking hard, trying to refocus. That's when I saw it, or thought I saw it. Just a flicker at the edge of my headlights, on the right shoulder of the road. Small, low to the ground. For a split second, I registered a shape, vaguely human-like, and then it was gone, swallowed by the darkness as I passed. My first thought, deer or a coyote. Common enough, but it hadn't moved like an animal. It had been upright. My brain, sluggish as it was, tried to process it. Too small for an adult, too still for an animal startled by a truck. Then the logical part, the part still trying to keep me safe on the road, chimed in. You're tired. You're imagining things. It happens, and I almost accepted that. I really did. I shook my head, took a sip of lukewarm water from the bottle beside me, and kept my eyes on the road. The image, though, lingered. A small, upright shape, like a child. No way, I told myself. Out here, middle of nowhere, middle of the night? Impossible. Kids don't just wander around on interterritorial highways at 3 a.m. It had to be a trick of the light, a bush, my eyes playing games. Exhaustion can do that. Shadows that dance, trees that look like figures. It's part of the job when you're pushing your limits. I drove on for maybe another 30 seconds, the image fading, my rational mind starting to win. Just a figment. Then I glanced at my passenger side mirror out of habit, and my blood went cold. Not just cold, frozen. There, faintly illuminated by the red glow of my trailer lights in the distance, was the reflection of a small figure, standing on the shoulder of the road, exactly where I thought I had seen something. It wasn't a bush, it wasn't a shadow. It was small, and it was definitely standing there, unmoving. As my truck pulled farther and farther away, my heart began to pound. This wasn't fatigue, this was real. Something was back there, and it looked tiny. Every instinct screamed, danger, wrong, keep going. But another voice, maybe the human one, whispered something else. A kid? Alone out here? What if they're hurt? I fought with myself for a few seconds that felt like an eternity. The image in the mirror was getting smaller. If I didn't act now, they'd be swallowed by the darkness again. The thought of leaving a child out there, if that's what it was, felt unbearable. Against my better judgment, I slowed the rig. The air brakes hissed loudly. I pulled onto the shoulder and turned on my hazard lights, their flashing cutting into the darkness. Then I did what you're not supposed to do with a full trailer on a narrow shoulder. I began reversing. Slowly. Watching both mirrors, trying to keep the trailer straight, searching for that tiny figure. The crunch of gravel under the tires sounded unnaturally loud. It took a minute, maybe 2, but it felt like an hour. Eventually, the red glow of my tail lights washed over the spot again. And there it was, a kid. I stopped the truck so my cab was roughly beside them. I switched on the high beams, trying to get a better look and also to make myself clearly visible. The kid was small, maybe 6 or 7 years old. Hard to tell in the glare. They were standing on the edge of the gravel shoulder, right where the trees began. Tall, dark pines formed a dense wall just beyond the reach of my lights. The kid wasn't looking at me. They were walking slowly, parallel to the road, like they were on a calm stroll, completely unaware of the massive 18-wheeler next to them. They wore what looked like thin, light-colored pajamas. No coat, no shoes. Everything about it felt wrong. I killed the engine. The sudden silence made the world feel too still. Crickets, leaves rustling, my heart pounding. I rolled down the window. Cold, damp air drifted in. "Hey!" I called out. My voice echoed strangely. "Hey, kid!" No response. Just slow steps, bare feet on gravel. "Kid, are you okay?" Slowly, very slowly, the kid stopped. They didn't turn fully, just angled their head slightly, revealing part of their cheek in the light. Still not looking at me. A deep unease ran down my spine. Kids don't behave like this. A lost child should be scared or relieved. "What are you doing out here alone?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. "It's the middle of the night." Silence. Then a few more slow steps. As if my presence didn't matter, my internal alarm bells were getting louder. My hand hovered near the gear stick. Part of me wanted to drive away, but it was a kid. "Where are your parents?" I asked, a little sharper. Finally, the kid stopped again. This time, they turned their head slightly more toward the front of my truck, into the light. Their face was pale and blank, like a doll. Dark marks where the eyes should be. No expression. Then, in a thin voice, "Lost." Relief and concern hit me at once. "Okay, lost is okay. We can fix that. Where do you live? Where were you going?" The kid turned their head more toward me now, their face still unreadable. Their gaze felt heavy, unsettling. "Home," the kid said. "Trying to get home." "Right. Where's home? Near here? Did you wander off from somewhere?" The kid didn't answer. Instead, they took a small step toward the truck. My hand tightened on the door handle. "It's cold," I said. "You should get in. I'll get you somewhere safe." The kid stopped 5 feet from the door, barefoot, thin pajamas, not shivering. "Can you help me?" the kid asked. The voice still small, but with a hint of something else now. Pleading, maybe. "Yeah, I can help you," I said. "That's why I stopped. Where are your parents?" The kid tilted their head in a strange, jerky movement. "They're waiting, at home." "And where's home?" I gestured down the highway. The kid didn't look down the road. They nodded toward the trees. "In there." My stomach tightened. "In the woods?" "Your home is in the woods." "Lost," the kid repeated. "Trying to find the path. It's dark." I looked at the tree line. Solid, unbroken black. "Can you come out?" the kid asked softly. "Help me look? It's not far. I just can't see it." Everything inside me screamed, "No." "I don't think that's a good idea," I said gently. "Too dangerous. Please get in. We'll get help." The kid stood still, face blank. "But it's right there," they insisted. "Just a little way. If you just step out, the light from your door would help." My skin crawled. Something was very wrong, the way they spoke. The lack of emotion, the attempt to coax me out. I looked closer, and that's when I noticed it. Behind the kids, something was stretching into the woods, something attached to them. At first I thought it was a trick of the light. A branch? A rope? I leaned forward to see better. It wasn't a rope. It wasn't a shadow. It was a thick, dark tube, emerging from the small of the kid's back and disappearing into the trees. Long, heavy, almost like a giant, shadowy cord, absorbing light, not reflecting it. My breath caught. My blood turned to ice. The kid kept speaking softly. "It's not far. Please, help me." But I wasn't listening anymore. I was staring at that impossible connection behind them. "Kid, what is that behind you?" I whispered. The kid stiffened. Barely. "What's what?" they asked, voice suddenly flat. "That thing," I said, pointing. "Coming out of your back." The kid didn't look. They didn't need to. "It's nothing," they said coldly. "You're tired. You're imagining it." "No," I said, trembling. "I see it. It's connected to you." Silence, thick, heavy, wrong. Then the kid's face changed. Not drastically, but the shadows around the eyes deepened. The expression sharpened. Something old and unsettling flickered across their features. The air felt impossible to breathe. "Just come out of the truck," the kid said. But the voice wasn't a child's voice anymore. It was deeper, echoing, with a grinding undertone. "Come out, now." My hand closed around the gear stick. "What are you?" I managed to ask. The kid tilted their head again. That strange, jerky motion. Their face twisted into an expression of pure, ancient annoyance. Then, in that deep, resonant voice, it spoke words I will never forget. "Why are humans smarter now?" It wasn't shouting. It wasn't angry. It sounded frustrated. Disappointed, like this used to be easier. I didn't think. I turned the key. The engine roared to life. The thing stepped back. I slammed the truck into drive. I floored it. The tire slipped on gravel before gripping the pavement. I didn't look back. After a few seconds, I glanced in the mirror. The figure was still there, watching, unmoving. The dark tube still stretching into the woods. I sped until my hands shook and my eyes blurred. The road was a blur of darkness. I didn't care. When dawn finally appeared and my phone signal returned, I pulled over and collapsed outside the truck, sobbing from fear and relief. I didn't report it. Who would believe this? I finished the run in a haze and quit long-haul driving. I found a local job. I avoid remote roads at night. I still have nightmares. Sometimes, late at night, I see flickers in my peripheral vision, and my heart stops. I don't know what that thing was. I don't want to know. All I know is that it's still out there, patient, watching, trying to understand why we don't fall for its tricks anymore. That question haunts me. Why are humans smarter now? If you ever drive a lonely road at night and see something strange, maybe just keep going. Maybe being smarter now means knowing when not to stop. Stay safe out there, and please stay on well-lit roads.
If you like this story, support the channel with a like and share.